Hello guys, welcome to CloudRaga. So in previous video, we talked about what is Spring Container. So there we saw the core features like what Spring Container can do, like creating objects, wire them together, configure if required, like we can have multiple objects out there, so they are may have to be connected, and then ultimately complete like managing all the lifecycle of that object. So that's what a Spring Container do. That was like at a core. What if we talk about the IOC? Because that's the one thing we have to discuss, and that's kind of last thing in code concepts. Then after we can start working on it and start writing some code. So the next big topic is IOC. So IOC stands for inversion of control, and I picked some statements from the multiple sites. So it says in software engineering, that's from the Wikipedia. It says it's a design pattern which says or which through which you can write custom codes and then you can get a flow of control. So something like in a Spring framework is happening. We write some code and accordingly our program, our computer program receives some flow of control in a generic way. So IOC is the main component of Spring framework. So Spring Container or IOC both are same. Don't just take it that IOC is different from Spring Container. No, IOC contains a generic term and Spring Container is a more specific term we use this. Okay, IOC or inversion control is a process by which application defines a dependency and these dependencies are then satisfied at runtime. Yep. So when we define some kind of certain kind of dependency in our project, so when this dependency will be satisfied, when we run our code, we will see this whole thing in a program and we will come back to this image. So this statement, the third statement will make more sense. What does it mean when we say satisfied at runtime by Spring Framework? Now, next statement says IOC is used to manage the beans and its dependency in the application. Yep, it again it's the same thing. Either you can talk about IOC or the Spring container. It's all about Spring beans. So IOC is a generic term. Spring container is a more specific term that we are talking about a framework. What does it do? It manages the bean and its dependencies. So more or less same. Now, if we talk about IOC, we can actually implement certain classes through these interfaces and we can achieve IOC container in a physical way. Of course, IOC container is sort of kind of a just a concept. But now here we're talking about the types of IOC container. How we can create IOC container in our application. So we have two ways. Either you can go for Bean Factory or the next one is application context. So Bean Factory is the base, or you can say it's a core library or core interface which provides the basic functionality of any IOC container we have talked about, any feature. And it is the actual representation of Spring IOC container. So you can see now we are combining Spring container or IOC container. So combinedly we can say Spring IOC container. So Bean Factory do this. Or in simple words, it's like a factory or a storage that contains a collection of beans and it instantiates the beans whenever asked by or for the client. So that's what Bean Factory do. And Bean Factory interface is the central IOC container in Spring Framework. Okay, yeah, that we know. And its responsibilities includes instantiating or sourcing app objects, configuring such objects. Okay, there's a typo. Configuring such objects and assembling the dependency between these objects. So that's what Bean Factory do. Application context. It's a child of this Bean Factory, but it provides some lots of other features which is missing, or you can say Bean Factory just a core feature. But if you want some like an advanced feature in Spring framework or Spring core application, you can go for application context. So this container adds more enterprise specific functionalities, which is missing in Bean Factory. So the ability to receive text messages from properties file, push public publish app events to interested event listeners and more other features are there like AOPs are there, binding features at runtime and context level classes. So all these things are present inside application context class. So next class we will see some more detail about these two types. Thanks for watching this video. Bye bye.